Hey, what's happening, guys? Thank you for tuning in to Rules for Rebels. I'm just heading out to get some last-minute supplies. I'm heading up to northern Michigan later on. Going to be going to check out Torch Lake, which seems really, really badass. It's I guess it's supposed to be one of the top 3 most beautiful lakes in the world. It's like a 300-foot deep glacier-fed lake, and I guess even when the lake's like hundreds of feet deep, you can see all the way to the bottom. So it's kind of cool. If you Google image it, I mean, the water is turquoise, just like the Caribbean. Looks pretty cool. And I'm also going to be checking out Sleeping Bear Dunes, a little bit further north, up north of Traverse City, and it's, you know, these like 450 feet tall sand dunes and stuff. So it should be pretty cool. Going to take my paddleboard out there. Going to camp a few days out there. Got a cabin rented for a couple days, so that should be a lot of fun. But I wanted to talk about Amazon merch in today's video. Kind of the main focus of today's video is the new Amazon merch tiers. But I also kind of figure we just kind of do some updates, talk about what's going on, talk about sales. So first things first, new Amazon merch tiers. So up until recently, Amazon merch tiers were 10, 25, 50, 100, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, and I think it went in increments of 2 after that. Well, the new tiers are, they've introduced a tier 3,000, a tier 5,000, a tier 7,000. So basically, rather than going up 2 at a time, you know, you'll go from 2,000 to 3,000 instead of 2,000 to 4,000. Although there doesn't really seem to be a ton of rhyme or reason to it. I have seen some people go from 2,000 to 4,000, even though other people are going to 3,000. I think this has to do with the new migration of you know, your listings from Amazon.com to Amazon.de and Amazon.co.uk. Basically what happens is, and it seems like it's kind of making its way down to the lower tiers now, with this new rollout, you're not actually able to say, okay, I want to put this listing on Amazon.de or Amazon.uk. Amazon is the one choosing your listings and porting them over. So as soon as you're rolled out or introduced to this program, what's going to happen is if you have 1,000 listings up and you're on tier 1,000, Amazon might go ahead and add 200 more listings to .de and .uk, and that would have put you over your tier limit, because you're at 1,000. That would have put you at 1,200. So what Amazon's doing is basically upping you from, say, 1,000 to 2,000, or from 2,000 to 3,000, to kind of make room for these extra designs you put up. Now, when you put up a design, it's not like it counts as one design and it's on Amazon.com, .de, and .uk. If Amazon migrates your .com listing to the UK and Germany, that one listing has now turned into 3 listings. So I think that's why they're doing kind of the tier ups right now like they are. I'm not really sure. There's been a lot of talk about how to actually view your live shirts for .de and .uk, as well as how to see sales. And I see people doing some kind of weird like coding workaround where they're having to go into like the Chrome settings and do something to see. I'm not sure why. Technically speaking, there's supposed to be 3 columns. Although on most accounts, I'm not really seeing a way to actually see what's sold in the UK, Germany, and the US. Some people are actually reporting really good sales numbers in Germany and the UK. So that's kind of interesting and kind of hopeful for a lot of us once we get into that tier. Another thing, I've been hearing a lot of bitching and moaning and belly aching about how Amazon rolls out kind of beta test type items. So when Popsockets rolled out, you know, they hit the high tiers first, then they came to the lower tiers, and I think right around now it's starting to make its way to tier 200, tier 500, etc. So if you don't have Popsockets yet and you've been waiting for them, log into your account. I think you may be pleasantly surprised, and you may find Popsockets in there. I still see a lot of people kind of poo-pooing Popsockets. Popsocket sales have been pretty good for me. Overall, I've sold a good number of Popsockets in general, but I do have maybe 2 to 3 designs that are selling consistently almost every day. The profits aren't huge, but you know, it helps with the tier ups, and every little bit of extra money is nice. And I talked about how a lot of people are kind of complaining about how Amazon is tiering things up, and oh great, you know, the big sellers get another advantage and are going to get a head start on all of us and become even bigger. This really sucks. And I mean, I get it. I get that you're frustrated if you hear about these new cool features, these things you want, and they're not available to you. Like, yeah, it sucks. Amazon has been pretty good about rolling stuff out. I mean, Popsockets were announced. I didn't have them. I think 3 to 4 days later, they got rolled out to me. It has taken a while to make it down to tier 500. I know my man Mitchy Boy's been been waiting for them for a while. But I always ask people, like, what do you think a better way of what do you want them? Do you want Amazon to give everything to tier 10, even though they're brand new and haven't really worked for it? Like, as with most things in life, things either run by effort or seniority. You're rewarded for those two things. Now, when Amazon rolls out a new feature, well, of course they're going to give it to the higher tier sellers for a couple reasons. First off, a lot of new sellers are putting up copyright infringing designs and breaking rules. If you're at tier 2,000 or 5,000 or 10,000, like, you've been selling on Amazon for a while, you haven't had any issues, Amazon knows you know what you're doing, Amazon knows you're trustworthy, Amazon knows that you're actually going to be making sales, so they'll actually get some data or some feedback based on whatever the new rollout is. And, whether you've been on Amazon Merch for 6 months or a year or 2 years, you've been making Amazon money. So of course they're going to reward the people who are making money. So I get that people are frustrated by it. I get that people are upset about it. But I mean, really, how would you like them to tier up besides like number of sales and, essentially seniority, which also kind of is number of sales as well. So it is what it is. You want to start getting new features, start working really hard, start trying to tier up. I'm not on huge tiers, but I actually just recently got tiered up from 2,000 to 3,000 the other day. So I'm kind of really working to maximize my uploads and kind of try to continue tiering up. And one thing that I'm really excited about that I found with my, merch business is, for the longest time, I only had 500 or 600 shirts up, right? Like, I'd get a couple hundred more and then a couple hundred others would come back down. But my sales have been pretty strong. And, from the people I talk to, from the people I know, there's a lot of people I know who have 4, 5, 6 times the number of shirts live that I have, and their sales numbers aren't 4, 5, 6 times bigger. I think I'm doing, sales have kind of slipped a bit recently, but I mean, I got up to the point where I was doing about 300 a week in sales, and I know a lot of people at tier 8,000 who are doing $400 or $500 a week in sales, and I only have, I think now I'm up to 1,300 shirts, but I mean, up until recently, I only had 5, 6, 7, 800 shirts up, and my numbers weren't that much worse than theirs. So I'm really kind of excited for, as I do start to kind of max out these uploads, and as I do get 3,000 shirts up, seeing like how much my numbers are actually going to grow. For the longest time, my sales were like 150 to 200 per week, when you look at that last 7 days on your dashboard. Then I kind of got it up to a solid 250 a week. Recently, man, I was 300 plus a week. Like, for the past 2 or 3 weeks, I was doing 312, maybe as high as $330,000, or $330 a week in sales. And that was really, really good for me. I was really happy with those numbers. And ever since this whole Germany, UK migration thing started happening, I've seen sales just kind of start slipping. So, I mean, I'm down to, I don't know, $230 a week in sales or something like that. So hoping that kind of picks up here in the near future. Outside of that, what else is new with me? I've been using the Merch Buddy Chrome extension, which is like a copy paste tool. It basically, rather than you having to either manually type out or copy the title, paste the title, copy bullet point, paste bullet point, copy bullet point, paste bullet point, copy description, paste description, rather than you having to go through all those processes with Merch Buddy, you click copy one time, it copies the title, bullet points, and description, and then you open up 10 more browsers with one click, hit paste, and go right down the line, pasting into all of them. It's really sped out my upload times, and it's allowed me to really crank out like hundreds of shirts, within a couple hours, couple days. So that's really kind of helped out. I was using a design service called Penji. It's a cool service, right? They're US based, it's English speakers, all the fonts used and graphics used are things that they actually have the license to. So overall, I mean, I'm happy with their designs and things. My one complaint was, part of it's my fault, I haven't really been actively putting up enough designs. I initially got it to do some banners and like web design for my business, and then I kind of ran out of stuff to do, so I started having them do t-shirts. I mean, basically you can have one design in the works at a time, and initially they were pretty quick. Within a few hours or maybe a day at the most, they delivered the design, and then I could have one in queue that got put into the works. Lately, it's been taking them like 2-3 days to get me a design. and you're paying $350 a month. I submit a design and you don't give it to me for 48 hours. Well, like 3 days have passed. So at the speed they're working at, I'm only going to wind up getting 15, maybe 20 designs per month if I'm lucky. And if you divide that by $350 a month, I'm paying like $23 a design. So I actually just emailed them the other day and canceled that service. They're great people over there. They do great design work. I think it's not really necessarily geared towards a t-shirt seller so much as if you have a business, if you're launching a project, if you have an e-commerce business and you want to get some amazing graphic design without having to hire a full-time designer, like I think their service is perfect for something like that. As far as like being a t-shirt designer where you're really working on volume, I don't know that it's perfectly geared towards that. I will use them again in the future, but I think I am going to unsubscribe for a little bit. Another thing I've done recently, I've used onlinejobs.ph in the past. It's basically like sort of like a Craigslist or an Upwork where you can post a job and somebody responds back. It does cost money. I think it's $69 a month for their basic package. You can have up to 3 jobs live. And then within me, I put up a job looking for a graphic designer for t-shirts and some other stuff. And man, within less than 24 hours, my email box got flooded with designs. People are sending me links to Google Drive where I can view their whole portfolio of all the t-shirts they've ever made. And there's some really, really great designers. I see a lot of people like offering to pay $2.50 an hour. Personally, I think that's a little bit low. Other people are paying $2.50 per design. What I'm actually trying to hire is I'm willing to pay like $400 per month. I want a full-time employee working Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Like 6, or I don't know about 9 to 5, but Monday through Friday, like 6 hours a day, cranking out designs. If it's more detailed, intricate designs, I'm expecting 5 to 10 per day. If it's text-based designs, substantially more than that. To be honest, I've been so busy, I haven't really had a chance to really kind of delve through all the responses I've gotten. But basically, instead of paying Penji $350 a month for a handful of good designs, I'm going to be paying $400 a month for basically just to get flooded with designs. I'm sure the language barrier is going to be a little bit of an issue. Most people who've applied to me have been pretty good. I kind of said in my listing, I want somebody to be able to communicate clearly in English. I don't want somebody who every time we have a conversation they're having to Google Translate things. And I want somebody who has some rough understanding of like US culture and comedy and things like that. But most people that I've gotten responses from seem to be pretty decent on that front. So yeah, I'll drop links to everything I've mentioned here. I'll drop a link to Penji. I'll drop a link to onlinejobs.ph if any of you guys want to check that out. And then Merch Buddy, a couple of the links and programs and stuff that I've mentioned in this video thus far. But that's kind of really all I got going on. I better get going. I got to run into Home Depot, grab something, got a little bit more shopping to do here before I head out of town. But let me know if there's any merch news, anything going on, anything that you guys want to share. Go ahead and drop it in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.